Good evening. Happy Friday night. It's Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, Yonkers Politics Then and Now. Tasha Diaz edition. Join me. Good evening. It's Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, Yonkers Politics Then and Now. Featuring Tasha Diaz, our majority leader. Good evening, folks. Good evening. Good evening. It's Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. Yonkers Politics Then and Now. Let's take a look at old Tasha Diaz interviews, not that old. But let's see what she said when she first got elected versus what is she saying and doing now. I want to go over that. Have you all been seeing, and I don't know who put this out, it wasn't me, the post in regards to the rally that will be happening at City Hall in regards to the term limits? Interesting. It's so funny. I was thinking about that. Someone was talking to me about it today, and a few hours later, I see this fly. Somebody shared it to me or sent it to me first, but I saw that it was posted, and it's in regards to a rally at City Hall on the first council meeting of the fall, I guess, they're coming back from the summer break. So, yeah, that's interesting. But I hear that the mayor is not running for mayor again. He's not going to run for mayor. He's done, although a lot of people don't believe that. I want to start with this really quick. This clip, is this the first one? No, it's not. Start with this one here. Tasha Diaz talking on the Yonkers Voice.
Well, so far, no one, I can honestly say, no one has given me any pushback. It's like you said, they know I'm a strong person. And when I bring something forth, I always have an example. So a lot of things that I propose, like I just proposed the HUD toll-free hotline, that was something that should have been in play. Not that HUD is a bad entity, it's a great entity. It's a part of affordable housing. It's just that we needed advocates. And a lot of people will call the office, whether it was Michael Sabatino's term or now my term, a lot of people will call the office and need us to advocate for certain deplorable conditions. And our hands are tied. It's only but so much we can do. So I came up with that to say, we need a toll-free hotline, like 311 in the city. So that way they can call and report what their issue is and get a ticket number. And then when they call us for help on a city level.
I try to show that because that just introducing who she is. Tasha Diaz, she ran as an advocate, right? She's an advocate. She's a fighter for the people. Education is very big, affordable housing. And so she was coming into politics as the people's champion. And that's why I took to her, liking to her at the very beginning. But then I started to see the game she was playing. And so I knew that she was not the person she said she was initially. And I'm not sure what happened. Maybe they got to her. But I want to play this also. She talks about education here and how important education is. And I think this is big because I'm all about the education stuff. And she also talks about charter schools and compares charter schools to the Yonkers public schools, right? And she doesn't have good things to say about them. And I think she was going too far with the downing of the schools that Mr. Ruros there had to redirect her. Take a listen.
With the charter schools, they have their ups and they have their downs as well. I believe that they charge us quite a few for our children to go there, because
they charge.
It goes through the city.
Yeah.
So the city pays a certain amount per child to go to a charter school, and it could be an astronomical amount of money. I believe we need to take care of our schools first. The schools are not in very good condition. Mold.
Our schools are in very bad condition,
Yes.
you mean, right?
Yes, that's what I said. Our schools are not in very good condition. I know that there's supposed to be a school going up in my very district, the old St. Denis building. Hopefully it goes up while I'm still in office because I want to be a part of that. I want to implement change. I want to let them know what's needed so these children can succeed. Saunders Trade and Technical High School, I went to that school. I graduated from there as my sister, as my daughter, and as my son just graduated last year from there. It's an awesome school. We need more schools like that. Trade schools, state-of-the-art schools. We should have state-of-the-art schools right now. We still have schools without air conditioning. That is a problem.
But let's take.
So really quick, she says that schools are in deplorable conditions. This is the chair of the education committee, and she says that, you know, charter schools take up too much of the money. Students who go to charter school, go there, and the city of Yonkers, the board of the school district, pays for each student. They pay the charter school as, you know, they were going out of district. And so she's saying that they pay an astronomical amount of money per student that goes to the charter school. And she's talking about the Charter School of Excellence on Warburton there. And she's not a big fan of it, apparently. And she says we need to take care of our own. That's right. I agree with you there. We need to take care of our own, our Yonkers public schools, which are in deplorable condition. But what have you done since you mentioned this on the Yonkers Voice to improve the conditions of the school? And yes, the new school is going up at the old St. Denis, Catholic school there on McLean. I'm not sure how much involvement she's actually having with it. I know the deputy mayor is involved. I saw him there, Tom Landy, not too long ago. But she says that this is, there's no air conditioning in the schools. And I've mentioned this. Kids sit in the classrooms on hot days with tank tops on, sweating, making it difficult for them to even focus on the learning. And then on days that are cold, sometimes the heating system's not working. So they're in classrooms with coats on. And, people are paying a lot of money in taxes here. And the taxes continue to go up, as you'll hear in a minute here with Tasha Diaz and what she has to say in regards to taxes. But I want you to listen also what she has to say is the reason why charter schools are outperform Yonkers public schools, and what she compares it to, and why they're just overall outperforming. The kids are doing better. The graduation rate is higher. Their GPAs are higher, and so listen to what she has to say in regards to that.
On the success of the charter schools, tons of parents are trying to register their kids at the CSEE on Warburton Avenue.
Yes.
Grades are unbelievable. Academically,
yes,
they're doing great. Why are they doing great academically and the Yonkers public schools are not doing so great? I'm not saying the public schools are not doing good.
Right.
I see the reports, I see the, everything, and I know they are doing well, but they're not doing as well as the charter schools.
Because I believe the charter schools have more structure. When the children come in, they're all in uniform. It's a more structured, no talking in the hallways, stand up straight. It's more of an etiquette. As opposed to in Yonkers public school, it's everybody's a little bit more laid back. I believe they need to get a little bit more stern and let the children know that they care.
It's about discipline.
Yes, yes. And I went to Catholic school for my first 6 years. I begged to go to public school. I begged my mother to go to public school, and she finally gave in because I wanted to be around people. I wanted to be around more people. I was always a community person. I was a Girl Scout. I was a CBC angel. I sang in a choir, and I wanted to just be around people. My grandmother always took me everywhere with her. So I was always around older people. I wasn't really around people my age per se.
Let's move to homeless.
She says that charter schools do better because they're more disciplined, they wear uniforms, and they have more etiquette than those students in the Yonkers public schools. Well, way to insult the students in the Yonkers public schools, right? They're more disciplined, she says. Well, as the chair of the education committee, you need to educate yourself a bit more on why charter schools outperform public schools. One of the major reasons is because they are selective. They are selective on which students they choose to enroll. So they don't have to deal with a lot of the, underperforming students, the behavioral problems, They get to be selective, unlike the public schools. They're not as overcrowded, unlike the public schools. The school buildings are brand new, unlike the public schools here in the city of Yonkers. Teachers are also, hired on a performance basis. They don't have a union that protects them from getting fired if they're crappy teachers. That has a big impact because that makes teachers have to perform. So those are two major differences there. I don't want to assume that the kids in the Yonkers public schools are all just undisciplined students with no etiquette, right? Because that's a reflection of us parents. And my kids, actually, someone mentioned the other day that my kids are some of the most, well-mannered kids. They say, thank you. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. It's a Southern thing. Right? And I'm sure a lot of other kids in Yonkers public school do the same because they have good parents also that teach them how to behave. But why aren't you doing anything about it? If you see these differences, why aren't you in the Yonkers public school saying, hey, this is what we need to do? We need to have more discipline if you feel that the Yonkers public school is laid back, as she says. All right? So what are you actually doing to change that?
Homeless problems in Yonkers. Homeless does not mean you don't have a job.
Right?
Okay? I know homeless people that do work.
Yes.
But they cannot afford a home in Yonkers.
Exactly.
Okay? I see jobs in Yonkers, constructions, and I have been at those construction sites, and they asked me to move out, to leave this, leave the area because they knew why I was there.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know, who are those people working?
Not from Yonkers.
Not from Yonkers. I'm looking at those structures, the construction, hotels on Square, and I apologize, that are people that those buildings employ people. You must be able to. But
I just want to get to where she speaks.
People of Yonkers
Voice about them because they have to live around them. There's buildings that are going up. The people in the community have a voice about them because they have to live around them. The developers don't live here. Also, they need to be built by people that live in Yonkers and utilize Yonkers, specifically unions, because the unions will bring in apprenticeships, which these children will not only have jobs while the buildings are going up, they have the potential to have a career. So when they use union and the union are teaching these children can have careers. There used to be a program, the pathway to apprenticeship. I spoke to one of the gentlemen. He's still employed through them. And he didn't know anything about that, but he went in as an apprentice. These are the kind of jobs we need. That's the reason why we need people from Yonkers to be able to build these buildings so that way we can utilize them as well. These people are coming in from the city. They're getting on the train. They're not spending money here in Yonkers. They're spending all their money in the city. They're coming to Yonkers to just rest their head. The developers, they're building and they're going elsewhere. That's the problem that I'm having.
How would you suggest for a mechanism to deal?
So she talks about these developers in a very much different way there than she does now. She says that the developers are not hiring local. We've been saying that for a very long time now. We need to have the jobs here for the people of Yonkers so they can learn a trade and have a career. That's what she was saying then. Now, she's all for the developers. She's their Tasha darling. Tasha darling. They got her looking a lot different than she does there. She's the majority leader now. And she doesn't care anymore about who the developers are hiring because she's right. They're not from Yonkers. They're not from Westchester. They're from Connecticut primarily is what I see. But they're definitely not from Westchester or Yonkers. And she's doing nothing about it. What about the people that you speak of and say that need jobs? They're homeless because they need jobs. And you're not doing anything about it now. In fact, you have been doing everything to assure that the opposite of what you're saying here is happening. The entire city has given up on the kids. Well, not the entire city, maybe our elected officials, but there are many of us out here in the city that still care. And that's why we're speaking now. The city council is useless. All talk at election time and then nothing. Same as mayor. He's all talk too. The schools are just passing the kids on to the next grade and then hand them a diploma at the end. Right. Move them along. No child left behind, regardless if they deserve to move up. We got to keep that graduation rate looking nice. And the superintendent and politicians pat themselves on the back, bragging about the great job they did. Well, it's primarily the elected officials bragging about the great job that they did or that they say they're doing. Graduation rate of 91%. But the fact remains that 75% of the students in the Yonkers public schools are living at or below the poverty line. Many are coming from a situation where there is generational poverty, a cycle of poverty that they have yet to break out of. And their parents went to the Yonkers public schools. Their grandparents went to Yonkers public schools. Now they're attending Yonkers public schools, but they're still impoverished. Why? Connecticut and Massachusetts is where the developers are from. Calhoun, I think, is the developer. Yes, that's one of them over there on our Ravine. I believe they're doing something there. And the union were protesting, Teamsters 456 were protesting them one time. That's actually how I first met them. I did do a podcast with them. It was a while back, but go back and check that out. That did also very well. I want to move on to the next clip here.
There is unnecessary money spent.
Oh, this is important. So she talks about wasteful spending, and this is just important. You have to hear what she says here. Okay, I've mentioned this also on my podcast, but to hear it from an elected official speaks volumes. She talks about wasteful spending and how to curb wasteful spending, and listen to one of the things she mentions that needs to stop in order to curb wasteful spending.
I'm pretty sure there's money that's spent not in a good way. We need to we need to be a little bit more frugal when we spend our tax dollars.
Are you implying that tax dollars are spent in unwise way?
Sometimes they can be.
Can you give us an example?
If someone has a no-show job, or if someone has
that doesn't exist.
Well,
it does.
Have I seen it personally? No. Have I heard of it? Yes. Do I have my eye open? Yes, I do.
Okay.
So that's what.
Boom. Did you hear what she just said? He asked to give an example of wasteful spending, and she says, like having a no-show job. And Mr. Ross there jumps back like so surprised. That's really true? And then she catches herself. She says, well, I've never seen it myself, but I've heard about it, and I got my eye on it. Folks, you know, it's happening. It's absolutely happening. Your tax dollars are being given to someone or more than one person for absolutely nothing. And I spoke about this in a podcast a month or so back in regards to a woman by the name of Grace Barani. Grace has a title of maintenance worker 1 for DPW, making $53,000 a year. However, I hear she has not shown up to work in about a year. She once ran for city council. She's the vice president of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and is really close to Carmen Gomez Goldberg. These are exactly the wasteful spending that we need to root out. You should be upset that you go to work every day to earn your money while you pay taxes to someone who doesn't get up to go to work. And they're probably making more than you. Because on average, these individuals in the family and friends network are making over $100,000 a year. And so the fact that the majority leader actually said it, comes out of her mouth, should concern everybody. And this is a reason why we need to make sure we come out and vote next year, because they are probably some of the most important elections we will have in Yonkers or have had in the city in a very long time. The fact that she has done nothing to stop or curb the no-show jobs or any wasteful spending tells me she was full of ish back then. But obviously, she was coming in there big and bad, and she wanted to send a message to some people. But they got to her. They get to everyone, it seems. The dumbass majority didn't ask any substantive questions during the budget process. But then again, none of the council members asked any real questions. They never asked any questions, any real questions, if they ask a question at all at any meeting, because they are already knowing what or how they are going to vote. It's already predetermined. There's no need for questions. They can't even at least fake it good.
There needs to be some oversight. After you get the contract and you say you're going to do X, Y, and Z,
She's talking about now developers and the oversight of developers assuring that what they say they're going to do or provide to the city is what they actually do. So let's see what she says on how to assure that.
Needs to come in and monitor that and make sure the expensive siding or installation that you claim to put in the walls, that you really use that.
Wow.
Because that turns into an issue as well. We all know people put things on paper and make it look good and give you the high quote, but when you go back, you can see they use the cheapest sheetrock. They didn't use insulation. That's a lot of things that I'm finding out in a lot of the buildings that went up.
Wow.
That they proposed one thing and they used other materials.
Wow. So she's saying basically that developers have been defrauding the city, or just building developments without the quality of material that they said they were going to use, cutting corners to save money. And you have to do that because when you have people to pay in order to get a certain job or a contract, you have to find ways to cut corners in order to free up cash. Does that include cutting corners when it comes to safety? Remember that building that collapsed in Miami? Poor construction. These buildings are going up so fast. Are the inspectors really doing a good job inspecting each and every one of them? We need oversight on the city, Yonkers City Council. Absolutely, we need oversight. We are the oversight of the Yonkers City Council, and we have to step up, and we have to start to speak out. And when we notice that they go to meetings without asking questions, we need to ask them why. We need to say, hey, why aren't you inquiring more about this particular issue? Why aren't you inquiring more about this person that you are just simply voting yes to appoint to some board or wherever? Who are they? What are their qualifications? Why are they the right candidate or person for the job? They don't ask anything. If you don't ask questions during the budget, then shut the F up. Yes, 33 and 43 Ashburton, very poor construction. I mean, they're going up so fast. And it's so much, money being given under the table and backroom deals being made that they are even less concerned with the quality of the work, because everybody's involved in some kind of shady business. So that's what happens. They know that there is no real oversight because the people that are supposed to provide that oversight are just as corrupt, if not more corrupt. So why would they? I think Yonkers residents love the abuse. The phone should be ringing off the hooks. You're right. You're right. And I don't know if they love the abuse. I just think that people are just so beat down They don't know what to do. But I think that we're heading in the right direction. Speaking out, more and more people coming out, people feeling more empowered, and saying to the council by going to City Hall on their first meeting, hey, this is not what we want, is how we do this. This is how we create change. This is how we take back our city. We must. West Hab builds 200 units for $100 million, $500,000 per unit that people have to pay rent. Actually, the taxpayers are paying most of the rent. Total waste and fraud. It would be better to buy houses for those people. And yeah, $500,000 per unit? Wow. Wow. 150,000 maybe to 200,000. Not $500,000 per unit. Wow. I want to go back real quick and let you listen to what she has to say on taxes.
When we go through the budget, which Moranti has budget, so when we go through the budget, we'll see where money was spent that shouldn't have been spent, or money that went somewhere else, should have been somewhere else to implement a lot of these changes. So we can find money somewhere so taxes doesn't have to be raised. That's what we'll do.
I keep hearing about that taxes don't have to be raised, but somehow they've been raised every year.
Yes, they have.
Okay, and they've been raised, and people with fixed income
Those are the ones that hurt the most.
are the ones that hurt the most.
Yes.
And very often, those people with the fixed income are the elderly. Those are the guys that come out and vote every single time.
Yes.
And they vote every single time based on that promise that taxes are not going to go up. Just to wait a few months and see the taxes going up. Even if it's a point or 2 points, it might not make much of a difference to you, to me, but to others.
And that's why I always advocate for my seniors. I know taxes do go up. I try to suppress anything that I can with them. So that's why I started the food distribution program, to help them, because a lot of seniors are on a fixed income. $4 to us, maybe nothing, but $4 to them, that is a meal. So I always make sure I visit the seniors once, sometimes twice a month, to make sure that they get the bare necessities to make a meal. So I always deliver eggs, cheese, bread. They always get a meat, a starch, vegetables. These are things that I make sure that they get to suppress the hardships.
Tasha, if you were an elderly person and you had to make a choice between food or medication, which one would you pick?
Some of them are choosing the medication because they needed to live. We need food to live too, but the medication is, yes, a lot of the seniors are choosing medication. They needed to live.
Some cannot afford it, even they choose it, but they cannot afford it.
Yes. And that's why I make sure my food program that they are always, they always have access to food, always. And it's not only them. Sometimes I go and meet and they have an older child that has children that need food. And I make sure I deliver to them as well. When God took he took fish and 5 loaves of bread and fed thousands of people. So that's the aspect that I keep in my mind. The food program that I have may not be the biggest, but I know I can touch a lot of people. And that's what I've been doing.
Guys, I can vouch on that one. I know
sure
Tasha
can. So again, there she goes, really going in on her food distribution program, because that's probably the one thing she can talk about the most, or in most detail, with the most knowledge. But we understand what that's about, Tasha. It's about votes. Those people, like you said, they vote, right? And that's why you pay attention to them. And you've been doing that little scheme with Virginia Perez, going into the senior buildings, bringing them food. Hey, make sure you vote for me. I brought you food. Meanwhile, you're keeping affordable housing that the seniors need out of the city of Yonkers. So you're keeping them homeless, but fed. And not everybody that goes to your food distribution is senior and elderly. And I've seen them, and a lot of them pull up in cars. Okay. And I see a lot of them dumping the food in the cars. And I know that you take a lot of it, I've heard, and you store it in Jefferson Towers, right? And it goes to Dominican Republic, but that's not your job. Okay. And we appreciate it. But there are other charities out there that already do that. They've been doing that. They're going to continue to do that long after you're gone. That's not going to stop. That's not going to stop. It's not your food program. It's not. Your job is to monitor the budget, to ask questions during council meetings, to reduce that wasteful spending you speak of, and to root out corruption if there is people or there are people who are getting paid for no-show jobs. That's your job. Not distributing food for votes, because that's a scheme. That's a scam. That's what they do. That's what it's all about. It's about getting those folks to vote. And then what they'll do is, once they build relationships with them, after a while, they'll just go and get their ballots. And so now they have this, large number of people from all these different senior buildings and low-income buildings where they'll go and get their ballots. So they don't even have to leave their home. Here you go. Here's a bag of food. Oh, don't forget to sign your ballot. Because that's what they do. Because they'll send a group of people, 20, 30 people, to go up to the Board of Elections so each of them can grab 5 ballots. They'll grab their own ballot, and then they'll grab 4 others. And they give them the list of names. It's all predetermined already. So here's your list. You go and ask for these. You go and ask for those. Then they give them back to them. And then they go with the food and knock on the door. Hey, how you doing, Mrs. Smith? I got your starch and your eggs and your meats and your ballot. Sign here. So make sure you sign this so we can continue giving you this food, because I'm sure that they present it to them as if they don't sign this ballot and vote for these individuals, the food program is going to stop. And what do you think that these vulnerable individuals who rely on this food program are going to do? That's the game. That's the game. But what they really do for them is absolutely nothing, because that food is going to always come to them. But that house that they're in, that apartment that's affordable for now, may not be. And they may be looking for a new place, and they won't be seeing Tasha no more. And they'll have even bigger problems after that. That's what it's all about. She does not take the money for the food out of her pocket. Absolutely. It's not hers. She wants to keep people dependent. Absolutely. Right? So as long as they know, if they keep voting and signing that ballot that they come to their door with, along with that bag of food, that bag of food is going to continue to come. They don't realize that it will continue anyway. Anyway, she wants to keep people dependent. Affordable housing would have touched a lot of people. She stole affordable housing, 1,000%. You're not going to make that up with no food. By you're basically an Uber. You're Uber for a pantry. That's what you are if you're delivering food, because you don't do it. You just bring it to them so they can sign your ballot. Tell this chicken head we didn't vote her in for food. We need affordable housing. Exactly. Are you listening, Tasha Diaz? To all the insiders that are watching that speak to this majority leader, let her know that the scam is up. That food distribution people of the city of Yonkers is not going to go anywhere once Tasha Diaz is no longer in office. It's not. It's not. Affordable housing should be her priority, 1,000%. $1.5 billion budget. You should be going through that, Miss Majority Leader, and not handing out a few $1,000s worth of expired food. Exactly. Because it's going to get done anyway. So why not focus on your job, go through the budget, and understand that, especially when it comes to the education, the school budget. You are, as the education chair, should know that like the back of your hand. You should know that inside and out. But you don't. Don't know who's stupider, her or the moron that elected her. Listen, you have to understand that, people are in desperate situations, especially in her district. And so they capitalize on that. They almost prey on that. And so when they come with this food, people are not, as educated on what's going on, especially when they're elderly. Right. So she brings the food and they're going to just vote for her because in their mind, she's the reason why they have that food. She's the reason, and she is the only reason. And if she's not there, then it will never come again. And that's not true. And we have to let people know that's not true. All right. What she's doing is helping kick most of you folks out.
In charge of enforcing those codes?
The buildings department.
And who
So
does the
I
building
want to.
department
This is
work
important here.
for?
She talks about the building department and who's in charge of enforcing these codes and stuff. So I want you to hear what she says here.
And who does the building department works for?
Other materials.
Who's in charge of enforcing those codes?
The buildings department.
And who does the building department works for?
The city of Yonkers.
And where do you work for?
The city of Yonkers.
Okay, then you got some homework to do. Well, Tasha, we've been on for like 30 minutes.
So she basically was blaming the building department there for not doing their job and oversight. And like I said, I mean, there's so many buildings going up so quick. How can they really do a proper job of inspecting all of those developments? One of the job sites on Warburton caught fire a few years ago. It was a huge fire. Yeah, and you know, there was another development over on Riverdale Avenue by where the old Goodyear tire place was. That caught on fire also. You know, it wasn't a huge fire, but it did catch on fire. And now they're just almost finished with the development. But, you know, there was a fire then too. And I thought about that. I'm like, what's going on here? You know, she thinks feeding them outdated food is advocating. Keep the food and cut the taxes 1,000%. Because when you do your job and manage the money right here in the city of Yonkers, guess what? There'll be even more money for more programs for the seniors and the youth, education. So it's sad that this is how you have to manage your city. You have to deliver food, Tasha. That needs to change. That needs to change. The two-time convict taught her well. That's right. John Limo. Yes, Freddie, that's the Spano way of getting votes. And she's referring to bringing food with a ballot. Here you go, sign here. And then if they, need more votes, then they'll look in the obituary and see who died recently, just before the elections. They'll go and get their ballots and vote for them. They're dead. They're not going to know, right? And the system doesn't catch up on time. So that's how dead people vote. If you've ever wondered that, you hear about that all the time, dead people voting. It's very true. That's how they do it. And I was told exactly how it's done by a Democrat. Funny, a Democrat who doesn't believe that election fraud can happen on a national level, but he will agree that it happens in Yonkers. Interesting way of thinking. She was collecting phone numbers from those online for food distribution. Yes, that's what they do. They get their phone numbers, email addresses, their home address, and they let them know, hey, we can deliver it to you. You know when they deliver it? When it's time for the ballots to be signed. Otherwise, line your ass up out here on Chicken Island and wait in the heat. Or put your cart there and go sit by a tree. That's what they do. It's a trick, man. It's a trick. It's all a trick, right? We got to be careful with this stuff. I want to play the last video clip here.
Well, I ran on my platform with transparency, inclusion, and diversity.
Transparency.
And when I ran, a lot of people kept saying, she's not going to win. But if you were a real community person and you actually knew me, you would have known that I was going to win.
Did you know that you were going to win?
I did know I was going to win because I felt it in my heart. Because I didn't do it for my own personal political gain. I did it for the community. I did it for the people.
And you had a good team. Don't get emotional on me now, because then it's two of us crying here. Okay. Now, I know that Lorraine Lopez, good friend of mine, good friend of yours?
That's a family member of mine.
No, it's not.
Yours,
that's not true.
Worked very hard to educate the people of Yonkers about your platform.
Yes.
You had strong support from strong people.
Yes.
And I think that is extremely important.
Yes.
You had people that really trusted you.
Yes. So I couldn't let them down.
You cannot let them down.
No.
Not just them. You cannot let the people who trusted you and voted for you. So regardless, if you lose a proposal, it doesn't matter if you lose or win, as long as you do what you think is best.
Yes.
For the people. Because people will remember that next time the voting comes around.
Of course.
They're going to say, well, she didn't win. She wasn't able to do everything that she promised. but we know why she wasn't able to do what she promised. So it's very important to stay true to the things that you promise, to the things that you believe are important and are important for the people that you are elected to represent.
Yes.
Now, what have been your challenges, Tasha? I'm sure that not everything is roses. You know, that's life. Okay, not everything is good in life. Not everything is good sometimes with your family, relationships or whatever. Like I disagree with my. I still that counsel that not
Right.
She I talked about some of her struggles there. That was the end of that clip. Actually, I don't know if I got anything else more about her. Let me see.
We could actually
But she
call
shed a tear there. Very
and
emotional.
say, this person had a ticket number, this date. Can you tell us was it? And it was
come and talk about the issues where people can come and offer part and such as do that.
Dude, you asked such the longest questions. Anyway, folks, that's my then and now with Tasha Diaz. I mean, she let the people down. She goes, he said, you're not going to let the people down. You got to follow through on your promises. But she did. She absolutely has let the people down. She did it in a big way the night that she voted no to override the mayor's veto on affordable housing. She killed the housing ordinance. But more importantly, she would have sent a message that the council is not weak and that we do have some power and we will exercise that power for the greater good of the people of the city of Yonkers. She did not do that. She let everyone down, and she continues to do that. She has bought into the system and now is a part of the problem. And she is exactly the reason why the city of Yonkers is in the condition that it's in. And it will continue to remain that way until we either elect new people next year or they develop most of us up out of here. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. Thank you for joining me tonight. I did a double episode, something unusual, but I wanted to talk about this then and now. I'm going to be doing more of these where I go through old clips. I'm going to show you what our elected officials were saying then, especially when they wanted to get in for the very first time versus what they're saying now. I mean, some of them are completely contradicting themselves. You know how they always blame the state for the lack of funding as to why the schools are in the condition that they're in? They always say, well, we don't get enough money. We don't get as much money as Syracuse, as Rochester, and all that. Well, I have a video clip of an elected official who says that, saying the opposite, that Yonkers actually gets more money than Rochester and Syracuse and even the city per student, and that Yonkers has gotten a lot of money, reoccurring money from the state, but the problem has been one of mismanagement. However, that's not what we hear now. And those who know that the problem truly is about mismanagement, like those no-show jobs, like all the made-up jobs and job titles that were given to people as favors or family members in order to look out for them simply, and we, the taxpayers, ultimately suffer. Taxes continue to rise while we watch developers enrich themselves as they receive tax breaks. Is that not a slap in the face, folks? I'm Freddie Vasquez. Thank you. Definitely mismanagement, 1,000%. We do get enough money. And the state comptroller, Thomas DiNapoli, said that. Yonkers needs to manage its money better. A lot of overspending in all of the departments. And if you watch the meetings this year, early in the year, the budget meetings, they each came, all the department heads each came up there and asked for more money. The one that surprised me the most was the Office of Inspector General. And the reason for that is because they had already gone over budget the prior year and were asking for more money. And most of that money went into independent investigators and attorneys because of the Mike Cater investigation. Wasteful spending. Cars for the city council, free gas, free insurance, tolls, cell phones, fancy shirts for their aides. That's all wasteful spending. Majority leaders, new office, new floors, 75-inch TV, new refrigerator, all wasteful spending. And so it's time that it stops. And I'm glad that more and more people are talking, or speaking out about it. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Thank you, folks. I appreciate you joining the movement to take back the city of Yonkers. Tom DiNapoli is a big part of the problem. Useless and oversight of Yonkers. Yeah, I can see that. Why isn't he here? Why isn't he doing more? What about our Westchester County DA? What about the state's district attorney? What about the Southern District of the state of New York? Where are they at? What are they doing? We keep selling our assets with zero income coming in. Absolutely. And believe it or not, they want to sell some of the school buildings. You might not see that happen now, but it will happen. They're selling off everything, and none of it's going to benefit the city or the residents. It's going to developers. Where are they going to build another school? They need to build 3. They need to build 2 more. They don't have the money, but do they even have the land? Right? So it's time, folks. And honestly, and before I go, I just want to say this. I think that we need to request that the majority leader resign and step down. The fact that she changed her vote on the affordable housing is a clear indication that she has been compromised. It is the exact same scenario as the Sandy and Nabi Ridge Hill scandal. The exact same scenario. The only difference is that one is a black woman, one was Jordanian, I believe. One happened in 2012. The other one is happening now in 2022. Aside from that, everything else is the same, including the players that are behind the scenes. And so we need to request, demand that she resign. We can no longer have faith that she will do her job, right? With, honesty, integrity. We cannot trust it. We can't. You see what she did on the housing ordinance. Where did that come from? Why all of a sudden you're not for it? And then you're named majority leader? Come on. It's the same exact scenario. Same exact scenario. And therefore, I believe that we as the city residents, city voters, taxpayers need to demand that the majority leader resign, because she has been compromised, in my opinion, and the opinion of others. I'm Freddie Vasquez, folks. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Where's the new affordable housing ordinance that she was going to negotiate? Yeah, right. Where is it? We won't be around. Changes. She won't be around. Change is coming. 1,000%. Too busy handing out moldy cheese. We can only change with number of voters. That's right. And that's exactly a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. We need more people to come out. We need new voters, young people out there. It's time to get involved. You need it. You guys need to come out because we need things for the youth. So the young people, 18 and over, register to vote if you're not. It's time to come out and vote. If you have not voted in a long time, come out and vote. Listen, I'll be honest, I haven't voted in a long time either. I've been jaded myself, honestly. But I'm back in it. I'm back in it to win it. And I want everyone to come out with me. And so, look up at that, go on Facebook and check out that rally that's going to be held in September, right? It's the first meeting that the city council will be having coming back from the summer break. And it's in regards to the term elimination or extensions that we all know that they're looking to do. They're going to sneak in on us like they did last time. Remember that midnight meeting they did that they voted to extend the term limits at midnight. Come on, folks. It's time. It's time. I'm Freddie Vasquez, folks. Thank you. Please follow the meeting. They are so important. That's right. Everybody's got to follow the meeting too. Absolutely. Watch the meetings. They're on Facebook. You know, sometimes I just put it on while I'm doing something. Just listen. It's very important. I share it on my page all the time. It's so important. You have to watch what they're saying. You have to watch what's going on. And so, you know, they've been compromised. I mean, even that whole zoning board thing, when they got the guys removed because they wanted to get some zoning laws changed. And so they had to get those guys out of there. I mean, that's not okay. And the city council went ahead and approved the appointment of new people without even asking why were the other two gentlemen removed and why are we replacing them with some young kid. That doesn't make sense. They don't care. They absolutely don't care. Know the people who are in charge of where you live. That's right, folks. And so, hey, Stella, thank you for commenting and stuff and watching. You know, we got to get together. You know, we really got to get together. This is going to take a team effort, and it's going to take people from all districts, all parts of Yonkers, because everyone is going to be affected in some form or fashion. You may not need affordable housing, but your taxes are going up, right? You may not have your taxes going up, but there's traffic and there's potholes all over the place, right? There's barely any jobs, right? Young people out in the streets, wandering aimlessly, crime. Like someone was shot yesterday in the back. Another woman was hit in the head with a hammer yesterday. And thank God for the Yonkers Police Department because, you know, Empress, maybe they are short staffed. You know, if they are, you know, I got to give them a break. I mean, I know a lot of companies are short staffed, but, you know, YPD had to assist the guy medically because the ambulance was, you know, was not never, I don't know how when he showed up, the video clip ended, but, you know, this is crazy. The guy's walking around with blood coming out of his back, talking about somebody needs to drive me to the hospital on Warburton. And maybe that they don't care because they know that Joe Carter's buying all that up anyway. He's going to get rid of those folks anyway in a matter of time, right? Thank you. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate you watching. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Let's talk specifics about agendas and more interviews. Well done, Freddie. Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate it. And shout out to Concerned Yonkers Democrats. How you guys doing? Why don't you guys come up here? There's a page out there called Concerned Yonkers Democrats. I believe that may be Jeffrey Sage. It's that crew there, the young kids. They're real silly. I see a lot of ignorant things on there. But, you know, this is the problem. You know, they create these pages on Facebook, and most people don't realize that they, you know, these goofy kids, right? Jeffrey Sage, Joe Sage, Frank Jarris, you know, they're the kids, you know, and they're being silly. And then they go on there and they say some nasty things to adults, very disrespectful, right? And so then they use those pages to promote candidates and stuff. So again, people may not realize that this is all, you know, just nonsense here in the city of Yonkers with these, you know, and then you have the Southwest Democrats, Southwest Dems. Who created that? Okay, that's all nonsense. So they can promote their agenda on these various pages, right? They get, like Hispanic Democrats and all that, Latino Democrats. A lot of the Latino, Yonkers Latino pages, I know that's run by the elites, the Hispanic gatekeepers, quote unquote. Like I think Carmen Goldberg likes to call herself a gatekeeper in the Hispanic community, right? Gatekeeper, right? And so they create all these pages so then they can get all the Hispanic people to follow them and they can dictate the narrative. That's what they do. And I know it because when I share things on those pages that are beneficial to Hispanics, they don't allow me to post it. Why? Are you not for Hispanics? Right? Because you don't want Freddie Vasquez to share anything. So I already know what it's about. So just look out for those silly pages and don't pay them no mind. There are plenty of jobs all going to friends and family networks. It's unfortunate that friends and family network averages over $100,000 a year per job. It's crazy. Thank you for speaking the truth. That affects many people. Thank you. We're all going to be affected. And changing removing those individuals from the zoning board was a mistake because now, you know, they can change zoning laws at will. And the silly council, as they like to call them, they don't know what the hell's going on. They don't know up from down, left from right, right? They don't ask any questions. They're already told what to say. So they're just going to go in there and appoint it. And guess what's going to happen on the east side? You're going to see some developments, you know, start to go up a lot there. But why haven't they really gone crazy there? Because that's a lot of voters on that side, right? And they don't want to piss you guys off just yet. We got important elections coming up next year. Let's wait till after the elections before we start doing some stuff over there, pissing people off over there. Remember, there's a Metro North line over there. You see it's happening on the Mount Vernon side. So imagine how much traffic that's going to create over there in the southeast and east side. And also, I hear they're trying to redistrict, making more Democrats, right? Why? So they can approve and pass all this stuff. So you guys on the southeast side, if you're not already feeling it, you're going to be. You're going to be upset at some of the decisions or a lot of the decisions that our city council has been making. Cowards. If you're not connected, you don't matter, which is unfortunate. Yeah, it is unfortunate. The hell that they gave me just to get my daycare center going, and then now they only assigned me 6 kids out of 21. Yeah, last year they were ready to give me 21 when I couldn't get my C of O, but now I only get 6 kids. Like, they're trying to hurt me financially. And I can't escape them because I have Vera Shaco's sister working up in the office, OCFS, where we get licensed for daycare. And Vera Shaco, I'm not 1,000%, but she's, part of, they like, she's a smart one. She stays away, but, she played the game, right? And they may owe some favors. So if they make a phone call up there, what about Joe Romano, Dan Romano's brother, right? Up there. I can't escape these people. They're everywhere in the building departments and in the state department, departments with the state, in the Board of Education. Tasha Diaz is the education committee. You don't think she, And so apparently they had no more funding, and that's why they couldn't give me any more kids. So here's what I decided to do, and I want you guys to spread this message. If there are any parents whose 3 and 4-year-olds did not get assigned a UPK this year, Universal Pre-K, because of lack of funding and the grant, right? They said they only had so much money in the grant. That's what they said. The grant was, ran out. I am offering scholarships. So if you have a 3 or 4-year-olds, I will give you the 2.5 hours free each day, because the city only pays for 2.5 hours free for UPK, right? So if you're a parent and you want your child to be in there longer, then you have to pay the additional hours, right? So you're only getting 12.5 hours free a week, right? That's what they give parents. So then any parent, again, that wants more hours, we get to charge them. And so if they get subsidies, then we, take the subsidies. So, some parents, if they don't get assigned, they have to pay for those 2.5 hours because they didn't get, there's no more grant money that's going to pay it. So if there's any parents out there who maybe didn't put their child in a UPK because they would have to pay for those 2.5 hours, reach out to Little Prodigies. We're offering scholarships. We're going to give them to you for free. All right. If the Yonkers Public School can't do it, we're going to do it. All right. And if you are one of the parents and you enrolled your child in a UPK, but you're having to pay full price because the grant money ran out, give us a call. We'll give you the 12.5 hours that each week free, right? We call it the Little Prodigies UPK Scholarship. So come check us out. And then we have daycare starting at $165 a week. On average, it's about $250 a week. So we're charging $165, 7:30 to 3 p.m. We also offer the after-school programming as well for an additional fee. But we work to keep our prices, affordable, because this is not what we're looking to make our millions from. Okay, we have other business for that, and we're fortunate, thank God. So again, I will be giving that 12.5 hours free each week in a UPK scholarship. So if you want to have your child, 3 to 4-year-old, in a UPK, or you want to save some money because you have to pay full price for the week, come check us out. Call us today, 518-853-7488. 518-853-7488. I know it's a weird number, but it's a Yonkers number. We're on Lockwood. Or you can email avasquez@littleprodigies.org, avazquez@littleprodigies.org, right? Or you can message me, reach out to me, leave a message. Again, we'll work with you parents, parents that may be in the financial hardship but need daycare and after school, tutoring, academic and social emotional learning and support, need help with IEPs, because we have experience with IEPs. That's a big, huge problem for many parents here in the city of Yonkers, who got kids, who have children, students that require an IEP. a lot of issues they're having getting the services that they need. We can help you get those services. We will guide you. We have that experience. We're going to do the music, the arts. I got some guitars there, so we will be doing lessons, instrument lessons. We're going to take it all the way, baby. We're going to do shows for our kids, graduation. Like, I can't wait. We're going above and beyond any UPK that is here in the city of Yonkers. So get your child enrolled now, because at some point there will be a Macy waiting list type of thing, right? We're going to have to do a lottery after that, like Macy, okay? But we will work hard to actually get you that voucher or that enrollment. So check us out. Refer a friend. Let them know about Little Prodigies. We're near School 5, and we will be offering transportation, pick up and drop off services. How many UPKs do that? Pick up and drop off services for UPK and daycare, as well as after school programming. So check us out. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Help me save my business, because the city of Yonkers, the state, and the evil cabal that operates within it has been trying to screw me over since day one. But I didn't come all this way in life to just quit and give up now. So help me, support me. And it's sad, because honestly, you know what the biggest thing about it is? That I could not hire the 2 teachers. I had to tell them that I could not hire them. 2 women, city residents, I could not hire them. And my wife, didn't want to, she hated having to make that call. We had to make the call, though. We had to tell them, I'm sorry, unfortunately, they didn't give us enough kids, and so we cannot hire you, but we are working to build up our enrollment, and we will be hiring them, hopefully, if they haven't been hired somewhere else, which I hope they have, because, I hate to not, but what could we do? What could we do? But we're going to make it happen, right? So anyway, folks, thank you. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Again, tell a friend, let them know about Little Prodigies. If they are looking for a place, for their child, UPK, daycare, after school programming, elementary school ages, all ages and after school programming. College and career program also will start this fall for our 9th and 12th grade students. So we're all about education. So let a friend know, tell parents, we're doing that UPK Little Prodigy Scholarship. We're gonna provide the grant money that they don't have. Grants in the IDA seems to never run. Yeah, I know, right? Grant money for why IDA never runs out for the developers, right? Runs out for our students, though. Oh my God, they really are everywhere. Twilight Zone, I'm telling you. How does the district run from Southwest Yonkers to North Yonkers? That to me is crazy. But it's built that way to benefit those in office. We need redistricting from competent people, 1,000%, 1,000%. The sleeping giants all over Yonkers have woke up. District 1-3, bye-bye. Yeah, they mess with the wrong people, man. Is there really going to be a rally at City Hall? What have you heard about this? Well, I just got a post sent to me, a flyer. It's, saying that the day and time, rally at City Hall for the term limit thing. So check it out. It's on Facebook. I believe that page, there's a new page out there exposing Yonkers corruption. They posted it, I believe, on the Yonkers Truth. There's a lot of pages now popping up, so that's what's up, folks. Kathy, the district leaders are mostly Spano, Say, Jerrises. They infiltrated and took over. Did they get Eileen O'Connor out? I know she wanted to. I'll come volunteer. Thank you. Yeah, we got the staffing, because it's just we got the coverage now. So since we don't have more kids, we don't need more staff, right? And that's the problem, that we couldn't hire them. We wanted more kids so we could hire more people also, but we'll get there. We absolutely will get there. I mean, God is working, and I believe that we'll get there. So I'm good. I'm good. It happens the way it's supposed to happen. That's what I believe. Nothing. No one's ever gonna hold anything over my head, right? Because I made it happen. My wife and I made it happen. Let me give my wife, my queen, some shout out. She did a lot of work, and I feel bad. She was like scared. Like, oh my God, what's going to happen? So don't worry, baby. We got this. Okay. We got this. Worst comes to worst, then we go all out on basement politics, and the information that I'm really not trying to put out there will be put out there, because there's no, it's all fair in love and war, right? As they say, it's all fair and love and war. Anyway, kids are the most important. Exactly. I'm trying to like do this thing with kids, and I got this dope idea and this opportunity that's so incredible that parents will be like, yo, let's do it. Let's get this thing going. And it's just like they don't want it. It's like they really don't want it. They open up certain things, and I don't want to go there. But I mean, like you could tell, like, why do you guys focus on certain, things that they fund, and there's nothing like going on there, man. Like it's such a waste of space and money. Like I love this. Like I want to go all out with these kids, man. I bought guitars. I spent like $500 on a guitar and amp. For what? I don't have to do that. You're not entitled. You're not obligated to offer music lessons at UPK, but I want to. I think it'll be great. I want to even create a Little Prodigies league, baseball league, right? Within the Little Prodigies. Hopefully we get this second location opened up where the kids can have baseball games on Saturdays, right? And they'll have different color shirts, Little Prodigies, red team, blue team, yellow team. Parents could come out and watch them do T-ball. And then we could do basketball. I mean, like, it's just, wow, I can't believe these people just are really stalling this. It's incredible, man. I mean, and I want nothing from it other than just to see it happen. I didn't say give me $1. I don't want nothing. I wanted nothing. Just do it for the kids. Let's help. Let's make this happen, people. So, when we talk about education, what they really want here, I wonder. It really makes me wonder, do they really care about the kids? Do they really, really care about the kids and education? And it seems like they don't. The two things that they are really not giving two craps about are the two most important things. That's education and affordable housing. And that has fallen to the wayside. That's getting the minimal attention, the minimal amount of money, right? Think about it. Why? Because like I said, they truly want most of us out of here. A certain demographic they want out of here. And I actually heard that from somebody who gets a lot of information from insiders, good information. And he said that there is an agenda to just get certain people out by pricing them out. Even in No Dine Hill section, they're going to jack up the prices over there in Elm Street and Linden and Walnut and all that. They want people out. They want people out. They want to have a smaller demographic of poor, right? As small as possible. And so that's what's going to happen. That's what they're doing. And the people that are building the developments and are going to eventually be coming in here, they're not integrationists. They're not integrationists. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Thank you for joining me, folks. Have a beautiful and blessed weekend. Developments in Yonkers, kids, housing, and people are lacking. Yeah. Like John Murtaugh said, economic development starts with education. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Folks, thank you. Over 15 developments have been completed in our city. 0 new schools. Well, hopefully 1 will be completed. We'll see how it goes, folks. But if you want this to change, next year is when it happens. It's a unique situation that's coming upon us, and we must take full advantage. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Have a blessed and beautiful weekend, and I will see you on Sunday afternoon. Join me as John Limo comes on the show for the first time. It's going to be very interesting. That's going to come on early Sunday, so check out that. Look out for it. I'll be posting it up soon. Thank you. And that's going to also be on 2 platforms, Basement Politics and Inside Yonkers, so you can catch it on both those pages. Anyway, folks, have a great night. Be blessed. Hopefully my wife is still up. I want to hang out with her, but she's probably snoring. Baby, you up? Want to hang out? Usually my wife is asleep and I want to hang out after the podcast, and she's like, I'm done. I can't wait for you. Hey, folks, have a great night. I'm out of here. I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. That was your Then and Now episode. Yonkers Politics Then and Now with Tasha Diaz. She sold us out. She let the people down. She's not very transparent, and it is apparent. She became the majority leader after killing the housing ordinance. She's got her stepdaughter entering the Yonkers Police Academy. She got it made in the shade. Why would she help the poor folks out? Have you spoken to Moranti about your concerns? I have. Has he reached out? No. You have a business in this district. Our district. I know. They do shit for the people. Unless you pay them. You know what it was? I realized had I paid certain people, had I reached out to certain people and said, hey, this is what I need, how much you're going to charge me, I would have got this done already. That's really what it was. I had to pay certain people, and they try to get me. They try to get me with a little $2,000. Try to get me. I don't get shaken down, right? I don't get shaken down. I don't play that game. Come on, man. I was taught by the best. People don't know where I come from. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Don't. Stop it. I'll take it all the way to the end. All the way to the end.
I was raised in housing. 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 I don't think you were.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez. You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
But I am the bad guy. But I am the bad guy.
I know you have a lot of women.
But I am the bad guy.
I know you have a lot of women. I know you have a lot of women that work in your office. And I was also told that you favor some over others. I'm hoping that this is not true, Sammy. Please elaborate on that.
That is not.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Yo,
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddie Vasquez.
Freddie wins.